Well, even when we were dead in sins, he made us alive together with Jesus. By grace you are saved. You didn't deserve any of it. That's the point he wanted you to get when he told you verses 1 through 3. You didn't deserve any of it. Wasn't nothing good about us, but he did it anyway. He loved us anyway. Oh no, God could never love us that way. Well, I believe the Spirit of God that wrote the book instead of what Spirit's leading you. Oh no, God couldn't love us as much as he loves Jesus. Well, I believe the Spirit of Jesus more than the Spirit that's leading you. Oh, there's no way God could make us alive together with Jesus when we were evil, rotten to the core, dead in trespasses and sins, wicked, by nature the children of wrath. That goes contrary to anything I know about God. Well, you don't know God's love. John said, if you don't know God's love, you don't know him. Because that's exactly what Jesus revealed to Paul. That even when we were demonic-like, evil, rotten to the core, by nature the children of wrath, I mean the opposite of all God ever wanted of man. In that condition, in that state, even in that state, God made us alive together with Christ when he raised him from the dead. And right after that, he says, by grace you are saved. You didn't deserve any of it. And that's the point that God's trying to get across to us. Oh, it's the point Satan wars day and night to get us from seeing, because in that glorious point is exceeding great rejoicing. Like Jesus said, you'll come to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I didn't have to prove anything to God. And it wasn't about how much I loved him. But the beauty is, even in the story of the prodigal son that came home, it's the beauty of the father's love for his child, not the child's love for his father. And that's also what God is revealing here in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. Not that we loved God, John said, but the glory is that he loved us and sent his son to be the Savior of the world. And when I began to see, dear God, Jesus, God loved me even as he loved you, and when I was all this ugly, that's what the word of truth says. Even when I was all that ugly, God made me alive together with Jesus when he raised him from the dead, and says, you didn't deserve any of it. By grace you are saved. Oh, no, you got to walk the straight and narrow to the point where you never ever sin and you never do any wrong, or God won't have anything to do with you. And yet the whole time he died for me when I was his enemy. He died for me when I was living like a dog, living like a devil, a heathen, a pagan, a whoremonger, a trash talker, a liar, a thief, a con artist. Just the list of ugliness goes on. He still loved us. No, he didn't love what we did. We're doing. He's a holy God. But that did not stop him from loving us to the greatness of the love that he had upon us in the giving of his son. That's what Paul's revelation Jesus gave him is telling us here. Even when we were ugly, rotten to the core, God raised us up together when he raised his son from the dead. And he didn't stop there, but he also made us go up into heaven and sit with Jesus in the heavenly places of the Son of God's glory. Every bit of that was by God's love, the richness of his mercy, and by grace. No, we didn't deserve any of it. And then he says, the reason he did all this, that in the ages, times to come, he would make known, show us the exceeding riches of his grace. I mean, receiving things from God we didn't deserve. That in the times, the ages to come, he would show the exceeding riches of his grace and his kindness toward us through Jesus Christ. All this by grace. For by grace you are saved through faith. Faith in what? In what Jesus did, not by what you do. And that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of what you do, lest any man should boast. But how many times do we hear a gospel preached it's all about what you do and nothing about what Christ did? It's all about what you do, and Jesus' cross has very little to do with it. Man, I picked up later, at a time the Lord told me that's not my spirit that says that. My spirit would never say that. And I'm hearing that in the pulpit. Oh, the blood, the death, the resurrection of Jesus has very little to do with salvation. 90% of it's on your shoulders, on your back, on your deeds, on your doings, on what you do, on your works. And what the Lord taught me was the grace part of it is that God, when we didn't deserve any of it, we were satanic by nature, evil, rotten to the core. Our ways were not God's ways. Our thoughts were not God's thoughts. We were wicked. But even then, he still loved us and made us alive together with Jesus. And in that, he also, by grace, raised us up together with Jesus. We didn't deserve any of this. And even in this undeserved state, he went further. He made us sit together with Jesus in the heavenly places of God's glory, the glory of the Son of God. Now, here's what Satan does. In his doctrines, he doesn't want you to see it. He doesn't want you to see yourself raised up together and seated with Jesus in heavenly places. He still wants you to see yourself not risen from the dead. You're trying to get saved. You're trying to figure this thing out. You're trying to work your way to heaven. You're trying to pour out all this religious sweat and these do's and don'ts, trying to somehow, someday, maybe save yourself. And by that, he's caused you to lose so complete sight of what God did for us in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10 in the giving of his Son. Raising us from the dead when we didn't deserve it. Ascending us into heaven with Jesus when we didn't deserve it. And making us sit together with Jesus in the heavenly places of redemption glory, the redemption glory of the Son of God, when we didn't deserve it. It is all included in the gift of God. God did it not because we deserved it. He did it by grace. It's part of the reward of Jesus. But the devil wants you to fall from grace. He wants in your mind for you to fall from grace. Oh, unless you go get circumcised, you Gentile men, you cannot be saved. And we get fearing and scared. And oh, here we go, snip, snip, snip. Oh, and unless you keep the Sabbath day and the law of Moses and don't eat pork, you cannot be saved. And my friends, when the Lord began to open my eyes to simple men, but I desired to know the truth, because I saw the different sermons coming from the different pulpits. I said, Lord, something's wrong here. Where are we missing it? And he taught me that we have need to go back to Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. And we dig that out until we understand the glory of what's being said. God did everything in salvation for us when we were demonic. Our evil ways did not stifle his love, did not stop his love, but it brought to light his love. How much he loved us despite us, and raised us up together with Jesus when he raised his Son from the dead. And he made us sit together in heaven with Jesus when Jesus sat down. And everything he did in this, none of us deserved any of it, but the actual opposite. God's love, the riches of his mercy, and the glory of his grace made it all happen. When you began to speak otherwise, you're out of the spirit of truth. You're walking opposite of the mind of Christ thinking.